Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of the Roll Stable podcast. Thank you once again for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed your Thanksgiving weekend, had a great holiday. We have another great interview set up for today. But first, let's check out what's happening at UCM. Jennies basketball went 2-0 last week to start their season with wins over Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State. Senior Nyjah Collier was named the MIAA Co-Player of the Week. She averaged 19 points and 8.5 rebounds per game. Mules basketball picked up a win Saturday over Pittsburgh State. Jalen Blaze set a UCM high, scoring 25 points and hit 5 3-pointers in the win. This week, UCM basketball is at Northwest Missouri Thursday, December 3rd, and at Missouri Western Saturday, December 5th. Also competing this week for the first time is UCM track and field. Mules and Jennies Multis will be in action in Crete, Nebraska at the Happy Holidays multi-meet this Friday and Saturday. Central Missouri Athletics announced their Hall of Fame class of 2020-2021. The class will be inducted Saturday, February 27th, and features 8 former student athletes. They include Shari Bellman and Paula Harris of Jennies Volleyball, Alvin Johnson and Paul Kaiser of Mules Football, Heaven Warner and Kenesha Raynor of UCM Track and Field, Larry Hawks of Mules Baseball, and Julie Ireland of Jennies Soccer. And that look around UCM will bring us to today's interview from the Mules golf team, Nick Westrich. Nick, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me here.
I want to start with your big story of the summer. You won the 113th annual Missouri Amateur Championship. Take us through that. What was that like?
So that's a tournament I've been playing in multiple years now. It's kind of like the biggest tournament in Missouri. So like every college player, high school player dreams of playing in that one and winning that one. So I've had that dream for a while now, and I've never played well in it until this year, actually. It's kind of funny. So the tournament is set up. It's 2 rounds of stroke play.
Okay. So 36 holes?
36-hole stroke play, yes. And there's a 64-player cut.
Okay.
So this year, it was the biggest field ever because of the whole COVID thing. There was a bunch of tournaments canceled.
A lot of people wanted to get something in because they didn't have a college or high school
Exactly,
season.
yes. So this one had 180. Normally it's about 150. So yeah, this one, 180 down to 64 after the first 2 rounds.
So that's like 2/3 of it gone just after 2 rounds. Okay.
Yes.
So then what happens after those first 2 rounds of stroke play?
So then it's match play from there on. So the 1 seed plays a 64 and so on.
And where did you fall in the stroke play portion?
So I shot rounds of 2 under and then 4 under, and I was in 5th place after.
Okay, so
after the 2
really
rounds.
no doubt you were up there pretty high. You were feeling pretty comfortable. Was it? Did you care like where you were seated? Like how much did that matter? Where in that top 64 you fell?
After the first round, I think I was around 25th or so. So I knew I was pretty safe, going to make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like just the first goal,
Right.
to make the cut. And then the second round, I actually played some of the best golf I've ever played. Shot 4 under par, bogey free.
Do you think that was maybe because there was a little less pressure? You're like, all right, if I play well, I should be safe here. And so maybe you didn't have that tension. It wasn't kind of tight.
I guess there's some of that. A lot of it was just everything clicked that day.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just came together. I got up and down almost everywhere. It seemed like things were just going my way. And the 4 under par was the tied for the best round of the day that day.
Wow.
And that bumped me up to the 5th seed.
Okay.
So going into the match play, I was feeling pretty confident. I was playing pretty good.
And then it's 64 individuals. It's just kind of like college basketball's March Madness, right?
Exactly.
Head to head, and you go down till there's one champion.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the first round, I played a guy from Quincy, Illinois. My teammate, Drew Eaton, knows him pretty well. So I beat him. I played pretty good again. Made it to the round of 32. And so we play with, it's groups of 3 in the stroke play portion.
Mm-hmm.
So I played with, or it's actually groups of 4, sorry.
Okay.
So my whole group made it through match play.
Okay.
So
that's pretty cool. You guys, you kind of carry each other. You see how well each other are doing.
Exactly, yeah. And so we were all rooting for each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it turned out the second round, I played one of the guys I played with.
In the stroke play.
I did,
you
yes.
Squared up head to head with him.
And actually, my buddy Drew Eaton, he was from Quincy, Illinois too, and Drew knows him. That was a tough match. He's a good player, and I squeaked through.
And now it's a little bit different. You don't actually necessarily have to play all 18 holes per
Correct. Yes.
Per matchup. So what do? It's like however many holes are left if you lead by a certain amount. What's kind of the format for the match play?
Exactly. So you play as many holes as you need to.
Okay.
If you are 4 holes up with 3 holes to play, you're done.
Because it's not a total score thing.
Exactly. It's hole by hole.
You win one hole, you get a point, something like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah, I won that one only two up with 1 hole to go. So that was a close match.
Okay, so you played 17 of 18 holes.
Yes.
So obviously it was pretty close.
Yep.
And then I think it was your next round, the round of 16 was your closest one, right?
Next round, yes. We that was the closest match by far. He was actually an 18-year-old kid. He's going to SIU now to play, so he's a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time he's played in this tournament. He's a really nice kid. We were just going back and forth. I think we were 10 under something together, combined score. And so, yeah, just back and forth the whole time, and I ended up coming out on top on the 19th hole.
So it was 1 hole playoff?
1 hole playoff, yep.
Okay.
So
that's cool, though. There's a lot of good golf as opposed to you were both kind of struggling.
Yeah.
You're like, geez, he's doing as bad as I am. But
that makes it pretty fun. I mean, even if I would have lost that match, I still would have came out feeling good because I was playing good.
All right, so you still have 3 matches left to go.
Yep.
And
So
they
now,
broke it up into, how many days was it?
So it was 7 days total.
Okay.
And I ended up playing 10 rounds in those 7 days.
Wow.
That's a lot of golf.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, yeah, now we're doing the round of 8.
Yep.
So the golf fans out there know this name, Brad Nursky. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's kind of a legend around here. He's kind of the best player in Missouri.
Wow, okay.
Everyone kind of knows him. He's played in multiple U.S. amateurs. He's won, I think he won a U.S. Mid-Am, which is a pretty big deal.
Okay.
So he's ranked pretty high. He's a really good player. And so I've always wanted to play him because he's that good of a player. So you just want to play him.
You want to play the best.
Exactly. So yeah, going into that match, I was pretty excited. I was kind of nervous.
Sure.
I didn't know what to expect.
I mean, you just went from playing an 18-year-old kid
exactly
to now this guy who is a legend in Missouri State.
So yeah, that match was back and forth the first 9 holes. It was just a really good match. We were both playing well. And then something on the back 9 just happened to him. I'm not really sure what it was. He just wasn't playing well.
Sure. It happens.
He just bogey, and I just parred and just went on from there.
I think that's something I've heard Coach Poe actually say about you, talking about your game is, Nick Westrich, he'll just par you to death. Like, he might not do any flashy, but
exactly.
he's just going to hit his pars and wait for you to kind of make a mistake.
Exactly. Just make pars. Pars are never going to hurt you.
No, that's right. And so that got you to the final 4.
To the round of 4. So the round of 4, now I'm getting nervous.
Nervous just reliving it.
Exactly. So round of 4, I played a guy named Logan Smith. So I actually met Logan way back in the day in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We played a few tournaments together.
So he's around your age?
Yeah, we're actually same age. He plays for William Woods now. But I met him in a tournament. We qualified to get us to California. It was a tournament in California.
California State, not California, Missouri.
California State,
okay.
Yes. So we kind of traveled there together, and we kind of became friends because we were the only 2 from Missouri
Sure.
at the tournament. So yeah, ever since then, we just kind of talked back and forth, obviously good friends. And so I knew that was going to be a really good match. He's a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a low-key environment the whole time, just kind of nonchalant.
What was kind of, like the fan environment like? Did they allow fans? This was in July, is that right?
End of June.
End of June.
Yes.
So things with COVID were still going on. You had gone from 180 to now 4 players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was the course packed with people? Were there fans? Was it just kind of maybe close family and coaches?
So it's kind of weird warming up on the range every day and seeing less and less people there.
Sure.
But yes, my family were able to come down for the round of 8.
Okay.
So they watched me the last 3 rounds. But other than that, it was just people who worked at the tournament, and then obviously my opponent's family and whoever they brought. So we had probably 20 to 30 people following us.
Okay.
From the round 4.
Was the course at all open to the public, or was it really just you guys out there?
So it was really just us out there.
Okay.
So that was a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
Just for us, yeah.
A whole course for
exactly,
4 players.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a really good match. He took the early lead. He was playing really good golf. I thought I was out of it. There's no way I could win this. But actually, my girlfriend caddied for me.
Okay.
She plays for the women's team here, Emma Solovic.
Mm-hmm.
So she caddied for me, and I was struggling mentally in that match because that was the first time I was losing in the match. I didn't know what to do, and she kind of talked me through it, just got me settled down, and just focus. And I chipped in for birdie on number 8, and he actually had like a 6-foot birdie putt on that hole. So I chipped in on top of him to tie the hole, and that was kind of the turning point.
It was a big hole
And
for you. You just
it
kind of
was-
saved that from going down.
Yeah,
you know,
I would
even
have been down 3 through 8 holes there, but I was only down 2, and I won the 9th hole, so I was only 1 down through 9, which was huge. And then I think I won like 3 holes in a row on the back 9, just like I said, just pars, just pars. And yeah, I think I beat him two up with 1 to go. Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm on to the finals.
And this was 36-hole final.
36-hole final. So
Was it all the same day, or was it 2 days?
the final was 1 day.
Final was one
Yeah.
day. And so that semifinal was the day before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're in the finals now.
So we're
Who
in
we
the
got?
finals. So now, like I was talking about earlier, all 4 of my group from the stroke play portion made it through. One of the guys.
Another one?
Yep, another one.
Wow. So you played 2 from that group. So
I played 2.
3 of the 4 from that group.
Yep.
You know, was either you or you played 2 of them.
Yep.
That's a pretty big coincidence.
That was a pretty good group.
That's a pretty good group, yeah.
So his name was Max Kriekemeyer, a really good player. He's a couple years younger than I am. He's from St. Louis. He plays for Missouri State now.
Okay.
He's one of their best players. So yeah, really good match. We kind of became friends in the stroke play portion. Yeah, we just like when we're playing, you just kind of talk with your group and try to make friends, obviously. And so yeah.
I mean, you're out there for hours at a time. There's not much else
Exactly.
to do.
So I already knew his game going into the final.
Okay.
So I kind of knew what to expect and like how to play against him. So just playing the first round of the 36, I was playing solid, just like pars, like I said. And I ended up going 3 up through the first 18. And then we stopped for lunch break, and then go back out.
Sizable lead after the first round.
So I was feeling pretty comfortable after the first 18. So coming back out, you get a little warm up time, and I was feeling good. Part of the first hole, and he birdied, which was kind of a shocker because that was kind of a wake up call.
Sure.
So I'm only 2 up now. Yeah. So I was like, wow, I haven't won this yet. I gotta keep going. Next hole, hit an errant shot. Had about a 30-foot par putt, and I drained it. And that was huge. That was huge for my motivation, for my confidence.
All credit goes to your caddy, Emma.
Absolutely.
Course, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, she helped me read the greens all week, so that helped a lot. But yeah, he made par there. Moving on, I birdied the 4th hole to go back up 3. And after that point, I think he was kind of done. He kind of lost
10 rounds of golf over a whole week. It's got to be mentally tough. For anybody.
Absolutely. I walked every round. Yeah, and it's not a flat course. If you know the Ozarks, it's pretty hilly down there. So yeah, I walked 8 rounds, and so the final, I was mentally tired, physically tired, so I decided to ride finally.
Oh, okay. So carts were allowed.
Carts were allowed, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, finally decided to ride, so that helped a lot. But yeah, I was 3 up with 8 holes to go, or something like that.
Okay.
And that's when I knew I could do this.
Play your game, and this is in the bag.
I just tie from here on out, and I win.
Right.
And that's kind of what I did.
I think that was one of the ones that ended kind of earliest. I think maybe after 15 or 14 holes.
I think it was 14. Yeah. Yeah, I won 4 up.
5
up.
4.
5 and 4. Yeah, 5 and 4. So yeah,
So,
I wasn't. So yeah, going in that last hole, I wasn't expecting to win on that hole. I was expecting
Right.
to tie and go on to the next, and hopefully tie that one, and then I'd win. But this one, I think he was trying to force stuff. He's trying to make up the difference, obviously.
That makes some sense.
And he made a kind of a bad bogey, and I just made an easy par, and that was it.
And that was it.
And that was it.
And then you're the Missouri Amateur Champion. And what were you feeling like after you won?
Oh, it was a dream come true. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. It didn't hit right away.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know if it's still hit. I'm still dreaming about it.
Still today, a few months later, you are the amateur champion.
Exactly.
No one can ever take that away from you.
It's got a good ring to it, doesn't it?
It does. That's got to be a pretty cool feeling.
It is, for sure. Oh, yeah.
And like you said, it was one of the, if not the largest field in,
Mm-hmm.
the entire history of the whole tournament.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And there's some, looking on the trophy now, there's some pretty cool names on there. Tom Watson.
Mm-hmm.
He won it 4 times, actually. He was from Kansas City, obviously, and yeah, he won it 4 times. So it's pretty cool to be on the same trophy as Tom Watson.
Yeah,
it's a
no
pretty
doubt.
good feeling.
You brought the trophy with you to the Mules golf fundraiser, right?
I did. Yep.
Yeah, so I got to see it once out at the course. It's it's a historic trophy at this point, and
Absolutely.
definitely have your name up there with some of those greats. That's got to be an awesome feeling.
It's pretty cool.
And then, so do you get to like keep it for the year, or how does that work?
I do. Yep. And until next year, I gotta bring it back.
A little bit like almost like the Stanley Cup. You got the St. Louis Blues mask on right now. Everyone gets their day with the cup. You get a whole year with the Missouri Amateur Championship trophy. Wow, that's awesome. All right, so Nick, I want to go back to when you were a kid. What kind of got you into golf? When did you first start playing?
So my dad started me around 6 years old. I remember just going out to the driving range, just whacking away at balls, and I did it just as a hobby for a while. Until
6 years old, I imagine there's
exactly
leagues for you guys to play in.
Right. But in middle school, I started to play a few like local tournaments, just because. I just loved it. I loved playing. I played pretty much every sport growing up.
Okay.
Everything other than football. I played baseball, basketball, golf,
like
soccer.
Middle school, high school.
Yeah, yeah. So I was a big soccer guy actually. I thought I was gonna play soccer in college.
Okay.
Until a few years into my high school career, I just transitioned over to golf. I just kind of got burnt out in soccer, and I was like, well, I don't have a chance of playing basketball in college, so let's do golf.
Not a bad fallback option for you.
Exactly.
You're from Farmington, Missouri. What can you kind of tell us about Farmington? Is that a big golf community down there?
It's really not. So Farmington, it's not a small town, but it's not a big town. It's about 18,000 people.
Okay.
It's small compared to Kansas City or St. Louis, obviously, but there's quite a few things to do down there. We have a couple of golf courses down there. We have a public one and a private one. I grew up at the country club, but it's your classic small town country club. It's nothing fancy. So then once in high school, my high school played at the public course, so I transitioned over there. Been there ever since. But we also have like a small par 3 course down there. It's actually lit up, so you can play at night. And that's actually my favorite course down there.
Is it?
Yeah.
You like playing at night?
It's actually, yeah.
Gotta
it's
be
really
pretty
cool.
popular in the summertime, I would think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yep. So yeah, playing in high school, I had one player on our rival team who we went back and forth. We were basically the same player. I mean, if he didn't win, I won, and vice versa. Yeah. So yeah. So growing up, that was kind of my only competition, per se, in the area. So I didn't really know how good I was in high school until my senior year or so, like junior, heading into senior year, where I played a few tournaments growing up. And I really noticed, like, hey, I can do this in college.
Sure.
And that's when I started contacting coaches. Coach
So
Pose.
you kind of reached out to coaches. That was kind of your recruiting process.
Yes.
Were many people coming to Farmington to watch you play? You had to kind of do the work yourself.
Believe it or not,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Believe it or not, no, people were not flocking into Farmington, Missouri to watch me play golf.
And so, was there anything particular about UCM? How much did you know even about UCM and the golf program?
So it was actually
in high school.
Funny. I played a tournament going into my sophomore year of high school. I wasn't very good at the time, and I played Brett Windsor in this tournament. It was the Missouri Junior Match Play Tournament, and I made it to the first round of match play. And I played Brett Windsor. He was the 1 seed. And as you know, Brett Windsor played here.
Of course.
And so Coach Poe was actually following him in the tournament. And I had never heard of Central Missouri at the time. I had no idea who he was. I was like, this kid's pretty good. He beat me pretty bad. I was like, Central Missouri might be pretty good.
Right, yeah.
And so my grandparents were actually there watching me, and they started talking to Coach Poe, and so that was kind of the start of it. Then a couple years went by, nothing happened. And I actually played a tournament up at Mules National going into my junior year. It was the same tournament. The same tournament was hosted at Mules. And I played pretty well. I think I was the 5 seed again. But I wasn't very good at the time, so I lost in the second round or something. But they gave us these tokens for balls at the range.
Right.
And I didn't use them at the tournament, so I just held on to them. And I didn't think of anything of it until a few years later when I'm here and I realized I still had the tokens. I'm like, maybe this was destiny.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe I was supposed to come
here.
here.
That's a neat story.
Yeah.
Did you apply elsewhere, strongly consider any other schools?
Yeah. So people around me were telling me just send my resume to everybody. Send to everybody. You're not going to hear back from everybody.
Right.
So I probably sent out 100 resumes and heard back from maybe 10.
Okay.
So yeah, 10%.
I mean, even 10% is definitely, it's not even a bad number. To
Oh,
get 10% back from 10%.
Oh, I was happy to just hear back from one.
Yeah.
The first one that came back, I was like, wow, I was ecstatic. It was actually Rolla, Missouri S&T.
Okay.
That was the first one. I was also looking at Umsel.
All right.
And Maryville.
So you kind of wanted to stay pretty local in the state of Missouri.
Yeah,
sounds like Midwest.
Yeah, ideally I would have gone south because of the weather.
Sure.
But I didn't really contact anyone down there. I just didn't know who. Yeah, when it came down to it, I was like, yeah, I think I want to stay in Missouri. Stay kind of local. And Central Missouri was kind of the perfect place in Missouri for me. It was far enough away from home, but it was close enough I could go home when I need to.
Because it's like what?
It's about 4 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a terrible drive. It's pretty straight down 71 to get to St. Louis and then head south.
Yep. It's all highway, so it's not bad.
Not bad. What can you say are some of the biggest differences between high school and college golf?
Oh man, the competition level for sure. Yeah, in high school, you didn't really play anybody, at least in my region. You didn't really play anybody really good until state.
Sure.
So state was kind of like the big tournament.
Did you have any other teammates maybe that had gone on to play college golf?
I did not.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, my kid who's 2 years younger than me, one of my best friends from home, he's playing at the junior college in town, Mineral Area College. So he's the only one.
But very few.
Very few, yes. So yeah, once I got here, I was pretty much the best player on my team in high school. I'm not trying to brag, but I just kind of how it was.
That's a fact. It's a fact.
It wasn't hard to be the best one. But yeah, once I got here, it was kind of a wake-up call. I was like, I'm not the best one on the team anymore. Yeah, obviously.
And imagine it's like that for probably a lot of guys that come not only to Central Missouri, but every school out. Like you were used to being the best in high school, and now you're just almost like another guy.
So when I got here, I was like, okay, I did something right to get here, but now I'm not competing at the highest level, so I need to change something. So that was the biggest difference for me. And then just playing on a team where everybody has about the same talent level and everyone is good. And so playing against guys who are your talent level or better than you every day, that makes you better.
Sure.
And obviously. So yeah, just playing with them, I mean, it helps me so much.
What can you say that maybe you prefer, or how much different is it playing as an individual in, say, the Missouri Amateur versus playing as a part of a team at a college tournament? So
golf is unique in that it is an individual sport, but we do play as a team in college. So it's not the typical team atmosphere as, say, a basketball team or a football team, but we still push each other to be the best, obviously. And so, like, when we're traveling to tournaments, I mean, we are a team, and we are together.
Yeah, you drive together. You still do everything together.
Absolutely. So, which is really nice, because you don't feel like you're alone on the course. A lot of times when you're playing individual tournaments, you feel like you're alone, like nobody's there with you. So just the team atmosphere, knowing you're not alone and you're playing for something more than just yourself, it's a really cool feeling.
How aware are you on the course of maybe what your teammates are doing?
Very aware. So coach is out there following us from hole to hole. He kind of follows who needs them at the moment. So we'll ask coach, like, hey, how's he doing? How's he doing? And they pair us in the tournament back to back. So like our team is paired on.
Right, you're kind of in a group.
Yeah, right. So like we can see some of their shots coming in like to the green or something, and we can like sometimes
There
there's
might be a little overlap.
right. Yeah,
If you're waiting for a hole.
Exactly. Yeah, when you're waiting for a hole, we can mingle obviously. So yeah, and we'll like give each other signs like, hey, we're 2 under, like, or we're 1 over, like, yeah,
Okay.
we'll just do that like when we're on the hole.
So you're not just kind of blind to what's going on other than yourself.
Yeah, like if your teammate says, oh, I just bogeyed that hole, and you're like, oh man, I got to bogey this hole now to make up for that.
What can you tell us about golf practice? I'm guessing a lot of people have never played on a collegiate golf team. I never have, but there's got to be more to it than just picking up the clubs and going out and playing 18 holes.
So practice for UCM golf is kind of unique. Coach Poe understands our game, and he knows what level we're at. So he doesn't he doesn't mess with us unless we ask him to. So he won't make us do something. Like he won't make us go chip or putt or whatever. He knows like we know what we need to work on. So we're kind of individualized on that in a sense, but we will like play almost every day like in season. We'll play like against each other. We'll play a game, whatever. But individually, so personally I practice, I try to practice probably 4 hours a day just on golf. Whether it's putting, chipping, swinging,
some aspects
whatever.
of the game.
Yes, and I try to spend most of my time on putting, because putting's probably the biggest part of the game.
Sure.
But yeah, putting and chipping is important, and then just hitting a few balls and then go and play.
There's always something you can be working on, always something you can get better at in golf. You're always looking to improve no matter what age you are. You could always get better. What do you think personally you need to work on the most, what you need to improve to get better?
Personally, so in the golfing world right now, it's all about distance. How far can you hit it? So I'm a little behind on that aspect of the game.
Do you abide by that philosophy that it's all about distance?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, golf is not just how far you hit it. You got to get the ball in the hole. Yeah. Obviously, it helps to hit it further because it's easier, but it's not only driving distance. But so that's one thing I'm working on, to hit it a little further, but to keep the game I have now. So if I could keep the game I have now and hit it further, I'm going to go a lot further than I am now. And obviously keep my putting. I feel like I'm a pretty good putter. If I can keep that or improve that, that's going to help go a long way.
What are you doing to improve that distance on your drive?
So I'm working with my swing coach right now, actually. The golf swing uses a lot of legs.
Sure.
Obviously, you use the ground, you turn, you fire your hips. And I didn't do that very well until now. I didn't really have a swing coach growing up. I did here and there, but not one that helped me the whole way. So yeah, I just didn't use my legs very well. I did my swing and I made it work. So now I'm a little more connected and then using the ground more with my legs.
We were talking a little bit before this started about how Meals Golf hasn't played in competition in over a year. Last October was kind of the last one. So kind of, if you could take us back to March when everything kind of got canceled. You were probably right about to start your spring season, maybe a week or so away from that. What was that like, hearing that there wasn't going to be a spring season?
So yeah, we had practice as normal leading up to March. So we already figured out who was traveling to the first tournament, and us 5 were actually on the putting green that Friday or Saturday. I can't remember. I think it was Friday. Actually,
it was Friday.
Friday, yeah. We were all on the putting green, and that's when the NCAA was supposed to release something. And so we were all together waiting, because we were supposed to leave that next Saturday, next day. So we were getting ready, and that's when we heard the news on the putting green together, and it was devastating.
And then, obviously, you had all summer, probably thinking that, hey, it's golf, it's outside, the weather's going to be okay, maybe we can play again in the fall. That obviously didn't happen. So what was that like? Was it probably similar to March?
It was, yeah. We were communicating with Coach the whole summer. We were very optimistic that we were going to play, And leading up to the season, we thought we were playing, so we were all getting ready for it. And as it came closer and closer, our hopes lessened. It looked worse and worse, and eventually it got canceled again. And that was very devastating. We were all looking forward to it.
Now, the good news is that just about everyone is back from last spring. I mean, is there anyone that's off the team that was a part of it last year?
Yes. So we had 2 seniors graduate, Eric Pauls and J.D. Peterson.
Okay.
So they left, but our traveling 5 from the last year are all coming back.
And so what can you tell us about the current state of the team, things that we can expect when you guys do get back out on the course?
So last year, we were pretty excited for nationals.
Sure.
Last fall.
Last fall, you guys have won a couple of tournaments. Played, pretty well, placed in the top 5. I think in just about all 5 of them, maybe.
Yeah, we won 3 tournaments out of the 5. Finished 5th in the national preview. So we were looking forward to it. We got ranked number 1, one of the weeks. And we actually were number 18 nationally, like Division 1, 2, 3, everything. So we were really excited for this spring. So it was it was pretty devastating. But now knowing how good of a team we actually have, and we're all a year older, that's even more exciting for this spring, I think. And we're all really excited. We're all putting in the hard work, getting ready for the spring already. We've been getting ready for the last year.
Right, yeah, been playing for a year. Is there anyone that's really kind of elevated their game in the last year that's kind of maybe even surprised you a little bit?
Everyone on the team puts in the hard work, and everyone's progressing. I'd say Thomas Henson, he's a sophomore this year. He's got a lot of potential this year. I think he's going to play really well this year.
He got in a couple of travel tournaments last year, is that right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he traveled with us.
Did he travel in all 5?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, he did. He played well for us last year. And then, he won a tournament a few months ago, actually, I think in October. So that just shows his potential.
Sure.
He's playing another one this December, but we'll see how he does. But, he's actually the longest driver on the team.
Okay.
So that helps him, like we were talking about distance.
All that distance.
But, he's also a really good putter. That's kind of overlooked in his game because he's such a long hitter, but he's a really good putter. So
now, this is kind of a crazy thing. This is your 4th year in school, but you took a redshirt freshman year. Then you kind of had a COVID kind of ish red shirt. You technically still have 3 years of eligibility, which is kind of crazy to think about. Have you thought about what you're going to do? Do you plan on using all 3 of those years?
I made the joke I should get my medical red shirt and stay 7 years.
It's possible. Knock on wood, it doesn't come to that.
Right.
We don't want you to get hurt or anything.
But no, so I'm planning on staying next year at least. Staying the 5th year because I was planning on that anyway. So I'm doing that for sure. And we'll see where my game's at after that year because I do have that option now for the 6th year. If my game's not where I want it to be, I'll probably stay and work more to get it to where I need it to be. But if I'm playing really well, I think they're graduating this year. Matt Heyman and Sam Parrott, they're graduating this year, so I'd leave with them. And Drew Eaton, sorry.
Were you ever planning on graduate school or anything like that? Because I guess that's something you could think about now.
Yeah, I definitely did. And I am starting my master's in the spring this year.
Okay.
So I'm graduating this fall and starting in the spring. I kind of planned that once I took the redshirt year my freshman year. But now I can spread it out a little bit more because I have the extra year.
You got a lot more time to complete that.
Exactly.
And graduating with a bachelor's early is a huge accomplishment and a nice way to start that graduate process out. You have almost as much time to finish that as you did your bachelor's degree.
Yeah. I've got 3.5 years I can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 2.5. 2.5, sorry.
There have been a lot of former mules who have gone on to great success, both here at UCM and as an individual. Someone like Alex Springer recently played in Canada as a part of their tour up there. Is that something you also think about, maybe playing after you're finished here at UCM?
Absolutely. So it's really cool. The team we have now, our top 5, all have the same kind of plan. They all want to play after college. And so it's really cool that all of us can do that together.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, so like if we do go to Canada, like Alex Springer did, we can all travel together, stay together, everything, which is pretty cool. And I think we all have the potential. We all have the work ethic for it. But yeah, that's absolutely a dream. It'd be really cool. And I'm definitely looking up to Alex and taking his advice on what he did.
Now, I'm probably a little biased, and I also don't play a whole lot of golf. But from what I hear, Mills National at Pearl Springs is one of the nicer courses in the region. There was just an article in Teen Times Magazine about it. What can you say about having a home course like that?
Oh, it's awesome to have. We're so lucky. I mean, to have a course like that, literally 2 minutes from campus, it's
Sure.
awesome. I mean, yeah, when we were in the dorms, it was a minute drive, and just to have that access all the time. I mean, we can hit balls in the winter. We can go to the range and hit balls.
Sure, with the indoor
facility. Yeah, and we can hit balls anytime we want, like as long as it's not night. This year was kind of crazier with COVID going on. More people played golf this year than ever, so it was kind of hard to get a tee time this year.
Okay.
As opposed to a few years ago.
So you still have to go through the whole process of getting a tee time
Right.
with the course. You don't have any perks of being on the golf team.
Right. The first 2 years we could just show up and play whenever we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But that just shows you how nice of a course it is now. It's packed all the time. People just love playing it. It's just that good of a course.
Yeah, it's kind of become almost like a destination course for
Exactly,
the Midwest,
yeah.
people coming from different parts of not just Missouri but different states too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're really lucky to have it.
All right, we're running out of time. I'm going to hit you with a couple of fast questions here. Have you ever
right.
hit a hole in one?
2 of them.
2 of them.
2 of them.
Wow. What were they both par 3s or was there a par 4 in there?
No par 4s yet. Both par 3s yet.
Okay, that's pretty cool. What was that feeling like hitting your first hole in one?
It was awesome. I couldn't see it go in the hole, but when I got up there and saw it was in, it was just awesome. That's one of the coolest feelings in golf.
Your lowest round here at UCM was a 65, which is pretty impressive. That's pretty good. Is that your lowest of your career ever? You ever done better than 65?
I've shot a 63 at my home course.
Wow.
Yeah, 63. That was a fun day.
What was working right for you?
Everything. Everything.
Can you tell early on, maybe after like a hole or two, like, oh, this is going to be a good day. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I always play pretty well out there, so I'm always like 1 or 2 under, maybe 3 under, and I was doing the same thing. But I just kept making birdies. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Every golfer I know has they're like one golf story, whether it's just from like a day or maybe even a shot, and they tell all their friends about it, and the tale grows with like each time they tell it. What's your one kind of golf story that you're going to remember forever? You're going to tell everyone about every chance you get.
The first story that comes to mind, it was in high school. It was not me actually, but it was my teammate. We were playing down at a course we play every year in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. I miss that team. It was just a fun team, just a fun atmosphere. And he always told this story, always told us, always reminded us of this story. And it was a par 5, and he hit a wayward tee shot, just way right. And it was like in a creek, way right over by the creek. So he took a drop. He had a narrow gap between these trees. I think he had like 205 yards out. He takes a 5-iron and knocks it up to about this far, about a foot, and just taps it in for birdie.
And I'm sure that story has changed over time too. At first, it was like, oh, I got it within 10 feet of the cup, and now it's down to about 6 inches.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you just have to one up him, telling him that you won the Missouri Amateur. So
Maybe
you had that one shot. You had about 10 rounds.
Yes.
What is your all-time favorite golf movie?
Ooh, it's tough to beat Happy Gilmore.
It is. That's a good one.
Caddyshack is another good one. Tin Cup's a really good one. Probably Happy Gilmore.
Okay, Happy Gilmore. Nick, we are all out of time. I'm going to give you the final word here. Anything else you want to say?
Thanks for having me.
Where can people follow you at?
On Instagram?
On Instagram. What's your handle?
Nick Westrich.
All right, Nick Westrich on Instagram. Thanks, everyone, for listening to episode 9 of the Roll Stable podcast. For Nick Westrich, producer Tony Manzo, I'm Joe Hoffman. Thanks for checking out the Roll Stable podcast.